Clara Kasparova, who's Gary's mother, apparently turns to my channel, even though she doesn't understand English that well, but she said she was feeling the excitement of the game from this American commentator. And that's how my career started.
You're famous for that way of commentating, of like commentating it the way it's a sports event, rather than the way chess is usually commentated, which is like a slow and deliberate affair. Is that natural?
Yes.
For you, or does it come naturally through chess, despite the fact that it's a slow board game?
I grew up trash talking in the parks. So what I really want to say, I don't get to say because you're not allowed to say it on television, right? But that's how we grew up talking about chess in the park. And you make a move, and some few expletives get strung immediately. So for me, commentating on chess, it was just a natural flow. Like, that's how we talk. And the excitement of sports, I'm a big sports junkie. It was only natural. Like, that's how you would talk about it. And I feel that. It's not just a board game, as you know. It's personal. Mm-hmm. You're feeling it. When you make that mistake and somebody sacks a piece on you, it's like, you got to be joking. I can't believe this, mother. Like, that's the feeling of it. And so I just speak my feelings. And it's a different kind of commentary. When I first started it, a lot of people didn't like it. They thought, who is this guy? Or, it's chess. It's not sports. He thinks it's... I get a lot of criticism for it. Like, I don't care, but... I do. Like, what's his style of doing it? Mm-hmm. But it's how I grew up, and it's how I think about chess.
Now, those were classical games, yeah? Mm-hmm. And you were saying that you were super energetic.
No, those were rapid games.
Oh, those were rapid games.
It was rapid chess.
That makes sense, because in a classical game, by yourself, to talk like that for like 2 hours.
No, I couldn't do that. Couldn't do that. It was rapid chess. It was so the moves were coming pretty quickly.
Was it only one game at a time, or?
Yes.
One game at a time.
It was one game at a time. I remember Kramnik beating Kasparov, the famous King's Indian, where Kramnik marches his king all the way to the other side of the board to A7. And I got to commentate that. And it was like heaven. Like, you can't believe this is Kasparov and the beautiful attack he put. And then Kasparov with the counterplay. And then Kramnik marches his king with queen on the board, rook on the board, marches it to the other side and hides it on A7. And then Gary has to resign. It's like, what?
Is that the most exciting game you've commentated on? Or is there anything else that comes to mind as like the most exciting game?
No, I mean, some of the games, I think that was pretty exciting as a live game. I think the U.S. Championships, a lot of U.S. Championships were very exciting, particularly in the Women's Championship. Mm-hmm. Games like when Sabina Foiser won her title. Mm-hmm. That was such an epic story, one of the most heartwarming stories ever. And the way she won that title, Naji winning her title, one of her titles, her first one in particular. I think those come to mind. I think the U.S. Women's Championship is like my favorite event to commentate.
I remember that game between Irina and I think Anna Zatansky, when Irina at some point
that was the Blitz playoff.
I remember seeing that.
Yeah, that wasn't something I commentated on. That was early on. I think that was maybe in Oklahoma City or something.
Yeah, but those emotions run high during those final Blitz games.
It's great. You guys just bore us to tears, and the women just keep it exciting all the way through. I mean, it's just so much fun. To watch the U.S. Women's Championship.
Speak about your first gig with Yasser. I mean, he's such a big character in your story, right? When was the first time that you guys did commentary together?
We did commentary in 1995 World Championship. It was the World Trade Center. First, Anand versus Kasparov. First game 1, 9/11. This is 1995. Can you imagine? This is one of those weird things.
6 years, yeah.
And then the big thing we did was the next year, 1996, Kasparov versus Deep Blue. That was huge. Man versus machine, and we get to talk about that, making history. Then Gary won that one in Philly, and then Yasser and I ran it back the next year in 1997, and that's when we became like good buddies. Here was Yasser Seirawan, silk suits, gator shoes, and here I am doing commentary with this guy, right? The same guy who was like, yeah, whatever moves, and now I was doing commentary with him, and that Yasser is still the Yasser that I know and love today. Just
and
cherish.
You guys have completely contrasting styles in commentary. He's very calm, tell stories. You're very energetic and
Yes. Yes, Maurice. That's right. And our styles are contrasting because I want to sack a piece and he wants to win the end game. Like, give me the pawn, right? Pawn grubber. And he's most excited looking at pawn variations where you grab the pawn. And I'm like, what do you mean? That's ridiculous. You're going to take a pawn now? He's like, yes.
You mentioned sacking a pawn for the initiative, and
Right.
he would love to be on the other side.
Oh,
of that,
absolutely.
trying to soak up.
He's
that
taking
initiative.
all the pawns. Like, give it up. Then he refute it. You're like, damn, how is he refuting all my pawn stacks? Yeah, Yasser has been a huge part of my life for the last almost 30 years. And in terms of chess, one of my dearest friends in chess.
Did you guys ever get into a quarrel during
Never.
commentary?
Oh, during commentary?
Yeah.
I think the most
Like,
peeved
this
I've
is what I
seen-
want to play. This is what I want to play, and now I'm going to beat your ass, type of thing.
No.
No.
But Yasser doesn't get upset, it looks like.
That's true.
Have you ever
Yeah.
seen Yasser upset at anything?
Not really, no.
I mean, the guy is...
It's hard to imagine.
He's just like... He's the guy that calms everybody down. I think the most upset I've ever seen Yasser is there was a moment when me and Jennifer Shahadi were excited about some variation, and we were all over this, and we kept talking, and Yasser had something to say. And he's not the kind of person who just interrupts you, and he's not the voice that's going to do that. And we kept talking, and you could see Yasser's like, these potsers. Excuse me. And we kept talking, and he's just like,
Waiting for his turn.
do you know I'm a 4-time U.S. champion? Like, I was one of the best in the world. Calm down. Let me show you what the real thing is. And when I looked over and glanced at him, I think I better be quiet now. Yasser's face is not normal. Usually he's angelic, beatific almost, but not at that moment. You could tell he's like, let the adults speak now.
Did you ever get in a fight in general over arguments about a chess position with like someone you worked with or someone you were playing against?
No, but I've seen them, and the trash talking gets very heated. So stuff back in the day, you'd hear the language get a certain way, people, and money's flying back and forth with the hustlers. So it was,
Especially when money gets involved, you expect to see that every once in a
it's
while.
not pretty. But people basically kept it okay. But you could get into huge arguments in those kind of settings.